Normal School, Riley Driggs. Albion State Normal School was anything but normal. I mean, how can you call a college that had been abandoned 100 years prior, in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, been inhabited by a commune of hippies, abandoned again, normal? I never understood it. It turns out it's just a fancy way of calling a college that used to teach teachers. So that was something that I learned as an 8-year-old. And to make it even more abnormal, it was located in a tiny town in Idaho called Albion, population 256. And thanks to my dad and his twin brothers' impulsiveness, me and my family were now living there, and as well as the owners of 34 acres and 7 abandoned buildings that made up the Albion State Normal School. It had been abandoned for many years, and my dad and my uncle's plan was to turn it into a bustling, historic family reunion center. And that was the plan, of course, until they started cleanup. With it being abandoned for so long, it was full of asbestos and lead, which I'm pretty sure my dad told me could kill you. So we had to gear up in all these crazy suits. We looked a little bit like the monsters in Monsters, Inc. with the yellow suits, going in, trying to avoid all the contamination. And we started removing piles and piles of debris. And pretty soon, it was safe enough for me and my siblings to come in all suited up and explore. And that is when I found a room that was not like the rest of the rooms. Comparatively, it was pretty tidy for an abandoned building. I peeked my head in, and there was a man sitting at the desk, crunching numbers, doing books, doing work. No safety suit or anything. I will reiterate, my dad told me that lead and asbestos can kill you. So I say, hey, how are you not dying in here? I have never been so embarrassed in my life, because as it turns out, he was dead. It's not very respectful, as it turns out, to bring up dying to a ghost like that. So he was pretty chill about it, though. He's a really cool guy named Terry, who was a tortured soul, a business enthusiast like my dad and my uncle, actually, who was forced in his life to go to school to become a teacher. Tragic. I immediately went and got my family and told them there was a ghost in the building. They ran, and he told us there used to be a lot more ghosts on the campus, but as it turns out, hippies are pretty good therapists. So most of them had found peace and moved on, all but Terry, who wanted to start a business and make $1 million. And my dad and my uncle were like, that's our goal, man. Like, and it's getting expensive to renovate these buildings. So they said, why don't we make it a haunted house? And Terry's kind of boring, so he was not up for it at first. But with some prodding and a couple Airzukas, we called in the Idaho State funded Spirit Seekers. And the funny thing with Spirit Seekers, they don't believe it if you put it right in their eyes. So we didn't show them Terry. He didn't come up and introduce himself. Instead, they brought out all their equipment, their electromagnetic sensors, their heat sensors. Terry wandered around so they picked some weird heat energies. And my dad, did some Airzukas, and pretty soon we were certified haunted house owners. And soon my dad and my uncle went into business with Terry as a partner. And it became the Albion Haunted Mansions. And to this day, it's one of the most successful haunted houses west of the Mississippi.